Alright, guys. Hello, Riven mains and Yasuo mains alike. Way of Life Esports. I'm the Nightwing, coming at you guys with another League of Legends video. So, these past couple days has been the NA Regional Qualifier for the 2019 split leading into the Worlds 2019. So, with that being said, we have gone through quite a bit in these past couple days. Let's break it down. And then we're going to be heading into the all-important match of Clutch versus TSM as they have triumphed over FlyQuest and they have triumphed over CLG, who had literally last week just reverse swept them. You know that if Clutch had lost to CLG in a reverse sweep fashion, then we all obviously would have just memed Clutch to death, but more or less so, that doesn't happen more than once, usually to a lot of people. You get reverse swept, it happens, and you just gotta live through it. And the next series, play better against that said team, or get past the being able to be reverse swept, which is a really, really complicated thing to actually get past, because mental fortitude comes into play with a lot of League, and people just kind of just discredit that usually, but it happens. So, starting off with the Gauntlet, Clutch faced FlyQuest. You think coming into this match that FlyQuest have gotten a bit better since their last showing, which they last lost to Echo Fox of all teams, and your hopes were pretty much at the dumpster. They are pretty much like at the bottom of the barrel for this team. FlyQuest come out a lot stronger than most people would have anticipated, and most people would have thought that they would have literally just been like the worst team in there. Theoretically, so looking at it and not basing it off TSM, as I'm recording this before they played TSM, FlyQuest looked a little bit better, but their issues were not fixed. Wild Turtle, even in the first part of the recording for the LCS, as they have those, promotion videos before the game to get you hyped up, Wild Turtle had talked about them not remembering how to win. That is already a worrying thing. Anytime I hear that from any person in a team, it usually starts to mean it's just not going to pan out any good. And with that being said, you can obviously see that in the game. So, I actually forgot which game they won. It really doesn't matter what game they won. They won a pretty back and forth game, I think, against Clutch. Clutch kind of stomped them in one game. They had a pretty close game one. It went like the longest of the split, 55 minutes, but Clutch managed to, clutch it out. I think that most people on Clutch have been performing at just a much better level than anybody on FlyQuest, and it was pretty hard for them in the game 4. The game 4, FlyQuest had a chance to possibly bring it back to a game 5, but they did a Baron, got a Baron. It was like, what? It was like, okay, now there's a chance for you to get back in the game. Okay, cool. Reset the map. Obviously, take some towers, because at that point they had gotten literally no towers. So, you're like, good. Okay, cool. They get a Baron. Right after they get the Baron, they force a fight after burning all their cooldowns, all their summoners, and they think that they can beat Clutch in a team fight. And obviously, that's not going to work, as being as far as behind as they were. They were already far behind when they got the Baron. It was a miracle they even got it, and then they choose to throw the lead away. And you saw it on the players' faces. They're like, okay, I'm done with League right now. I just want to just pack up and go home as quickly as possible. So yeah, Clutch beat FlyQuest 3-1. Most people would have already anticipated that. I mean, that's just to be known. If you're FlyQuest and you've been looking this bad for a while, there's going to have to be some changes next year. Maybe FlyQuest buy a super team. Who knows? At the end of the day. But it's always something they do. They look good for spring, look bad for summer, and then don't make worlds. I'm kind of noticing the trend here about FlyQuest, so, it's just something I've always noticed that they've done, so it doesn't even surprise me one single bit. And today, going into CLG's games, you factor in CLG just reverse swept Clutch last week, obviously. So that is fresh in their minds. Clutch win the first 2 games, kind of in the same fashion that they won the first 2 in the third place match. Huni playing aggressive, scaling mid laners, scaling bot laners. You have Cody Sun and Vulcan playing really good as a 2v2. Actually, now they've gotten even better and better and better and better since every single match in the playoffs that they've been able to actually play. you actually have Huni. He does have the most isolated deaths for a top laner, but, you know, this is why I don't traditionally use anything indicative of stats, because, like, stats can mean good and bad things, but stats don't, you know, show you gameplay. Like, yes, he has a lot of isolated deaths, but why is he getting a lot of isolated deaths? Is he getting a lot of isolated deaths because of, you know, being caught out? Is he getting a lot of isolated deaths because he's obviously having more jungle focus to him? You know, that's why stats really don't mean that much. You can use them to a certain extent when you're trying to compare, like, damage numbers and certain aspects of what is a better player. It depends on the stat, actually, because the worse the team, the worse the stats. The better the team, the better the stats is usually how that tends to work out. So, you know, don't always think of stats as like, oh my god, that means this player sucks. You know, it's just not the case there. So, counter CLG, because they're really counter logic today. They obviously win in game 3, and then you hear the players, you know, going like, you saw their faces like, okay, yeah, reverse sweep time, and then, you know, you saw Huni in the post game interview saying, yeah, guys, just make sure you're all okay. Let's not get reverse swept again, and they didn't. But it was a very, very close game, just like in their game 4 against FlyQuest. They had a really, really close game. Obviously, they have this long extended fight for to get to CLG, and then they end up obviously, you know, end up finishing up all of them. They go into the base. Ruin and Biofrost try to, you know, obviously stop them, but they can't. And Alistar and a Gangplank try that against the other people of Clutch, and then they obviously lose, and Clutch prevail over CLG, and, you know, getting their revenge against them and winning 3-1. Both of their series have gone the distance in the game 4, and you obviously have to factor in that you're facing up against TSM. We have no clue if TSM got better. We have no clue if TSM got worse. We have no clue how if they improved on anything. So we're basically just going off the fact of, you know, we got to just base it off of what we can out of the players. So now Clutch is on the way to face TSM, and who will be in a final seed for Worlds. You know, Huni wants to get his rematch against TSM after last year on being on Echo Fox in 2018 summer, and TSM basically knocked them out. TSM actually knocked out Clutch too, and Clutch was in the regional qualifier last year, you know, with Febivin in 2018. Yeah, Febivin was with them last year in the Gauntlet with Apollo and Hakuo. Oh my god! And then they also lost with you know, there too. So they're happy, and they improved the roster, and they're obviously, you know, at a much better site right now than the other guys in the league. And basically that means CLG and FlyQuest seasons are over. FlyQuest, I don't really know what they can improve on other than just getting consistent players. Maybe a player just needs to just be removed from the team. Maybe it's a mental issue. Maybe the guys just aren't gelling anymore. Maybe you just need a different player, and that's always a good thing to have. Actually, with CLG, it was a good attempt from CLG. They got really, really close. Obviously, they had a much better year than the previous year, so, you know, kudos to them. At least they tried, and that'll always be a good thing in my book. Alright, so now you're facing off against TSM. I think Clutch is going in with all the momentum in this match right now in terms of gameplay. They've actually looked pretty decent. You know, they have their little 10-minute Rift Herald, obviously, but people like to meme on them about that, which isn't really true, because LPL and LCK have teams that do that. I forgot which ones, because obviously that is going to be like really hard to pinpoint if they actually do like 10-minute Rift Heralds. I mean, you could just watch the games, but other teams do 10-minute Rift Heralds. It's gold for the team, and it's an easy objective, and gets you turret plating for your laners. I don't see how that's a bad thing, but yeah. Clutch, I think, can take out TSM. Looking at how TSM previously played against Clutch, Clutch has beaten TSM every single time they've met in basically the playoffs. So it's going to be really interesting to see, you know, where this has gone. You know, it's like most of every single time they faced TSM, they've won in terms of the 3-1 fashion, and I think it's going to be a 3-1 fashion in, you know, this series too. Looking at how TSM have performed, I can't even fathom that they fixed every single issue with their team, basically with the spam of the time that they've had. There's no way. That'd be ridiculous. And if you're right about that, holy crap, kudos to you. But I think Clutch are going to win 3-1 and represent, obviously, you know, North America at the World Championship as the 3rd seed. because I think that I don't think TSM are actually ready to be at Worlds again, and realistically, so they weren't really ready to be at Worlds the previous years, and that's why they got flamed to absolute hell. But I think Clutch would be the suitable option to have at the World Championship, because coming in as a third seed, you obviously have a lot to go through, and it's just, being a Cloud9 fan, you guys already know that, you know, it's really hard being a third seed at certain points, getting really hard groups. So, you know, I think Clutch can be the better team for North America, and sadly for TSM, you're probably going to be sitting on your balls doing nothing while watching Clutch, TSM, and Team Liquid and Cloud9, obviously, at the World Championship. So, yeah, Clutch win. I'm predicting 3-1. I think that there are good players on TSM. I think they're going to put up a much better showing than the last time, but you can't really, you know, think about that after looking at how atrocious everything has been for them. So, see you guys later. Like, comment, subscribe. Most of all, enjoy Wave of Esports on the Nightwing, and I'm signing out. Peace. See you guys later.
Hi there, guys! Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more stuff.
Yeah, thank you.